Can you turn this on? All right. Good shape. All right, come up.
I'm just gonna slouch.
You're going to slouch? All right, Snuggle Bus. What book do we have here? All right, this is a tough one. You know that, right? This is not an easy book to read. If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss. And this is the first page, and it's done. And
No.
What?
You forgot to do it.
oh, okay. If I Ran the Circus. The end.
Oh.
What?
No.
If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss. The end.
Oh.
What? Okay, goodness. This book is for my dad, Big Ted of Springfield, the finest man I'll ever know. In all the whole town, the most wonderful spot is behind Schneelock's store in the big vacant lot. It's just the right spot for my wonderful plans, said young Morris McGurk, if I clean up the cans. Now a fellow like me, said young Morris McGurk, could get rid of this junk with a half-hour's work. I could yank up those weeds and chop down the dead tree and haul off those old cars. There are just 2 or 3, and then the whole place would be ready, you see. All ready to put up the tents for my circus. I think I will call it the Circus Mcgurkus. The Circus Mcgurkus, the world's greatest show on the face of the earth, or wherever you go. The Circus Mcgurkus, the cream of the cream. The Circus Mcgurkus, the circus supreme. The Circus Mcgurkus, colossal, stupendous, astounding, fantastic, terrific, tremendous. Yes, Luke?
Elephant.
Yes, that's an elephant, yes. There's another elephant right there.
According to who?
That does look like Horton Hears a Hoe.
No.
I'll bring in my acrobats, jugglers, and clowns from 1,033 faraway towns to the place that you'll see 'em in, ladies and gents, right behind Schneelock's store in the great McGurk tents. And I don't suppose old Mr. Schneelock will mind when he suddenly has a big circus behind. After all, Mr. Schneelock is one of my friends. He might even help out doing small odds and ends. Doing little odd jobs he could be of some aid, such as selling balloons and the pink lemonade. I think 500 gallons would be about right. And then I'll be ready for opening night. What an opening night, what a night, what a sight. I'll hoist up the curtains, the crowds will crowd in, and my Circus Mcgurkus will promptly begin with a welcoming toot on my welcoming horn by my horn-tooting apes from the jungles of Jorn, where the very best horn-tooting apes are all born, 'cause the very fresh air there is fine for their lungs, and some of those fellow have 2 or 3 tongues. Sit up, please. This way, step right in, this way, ladies and gents. My sideshow starts here in the first of my tents. When you see what goes on, you'll say, no other circus is half as great as circus the Circus Mcgurkus is. Here on stage 1, from the ocean of Olf, is a sight most amazing, a walrus named Rolf, who can stand on one whisker, this wonderful Rolf. on the top of 5 balls, 2 for tennis, 3 golf. It's a marvelous trick, if I do say so myself. And on stage number 2, here is something quite new. From the country called From comes this drum-tummied snum, who can drum any tune that you might care to hum. Doesn't hurt him a bit, 'cause his drum-tummy's numb.
Numb means strong.
Numb means it doesn't hurt at all. Numb means it doesn't hurt. You can't even feel it. And you'll now meet the floon, the remarkable foon, who eats sizzling hot pebbles that fall off the moon. And the reason he likes them red hot, it appears, is he greatly enjoys blowing smoke from his ears. Of course, pebbles like this are quite hard to collect, but Schneelock will manage somehow, I expect. After all, Mr. Schneelock is one of my friends, and I'm sure he'll help out doing small odds and ends.
Schneelock looks old.
He does look old. There's Schneelock. And on stage number 4, see the Willy Walloo, who can throw his long tail as a sort of lasso. With a flip of the hip, with a tail of his kind, he can capture whoever is standing behind. He can capture old Schneelock. I'm sure he won't mind. And now here is the hoodwink, who winks in his wink hood. Without a good wink hood, a hoodwink can't wink good. And folks, let me tell you, there's only one circus with wink-hooded hoodwinks, the Circus Mcgurkus.
Yellow.
The show of all shows, there's no other showman who shows you a show with a blindfolded bowman. A blindfolded bowman from Bigger Barut, the world's sharpest sharpshooter. Look at him shoot. Through the holes in 4 donuts, 2 hairs on a worm, and the knees of 3 birds without making them squirm. And then on through a crabapple up on the head of Schneelock, who likes to help out, as I've said. And now come to this spot where the spotlight is hot, and you'll see in the spotlight a juggling Jot, who can juggle some stuff you might think he could not, such as 22 question marks, which is a lot. Also 44 commas, and also 1 dot. That's the kind of Circus Mcgurkus I've got.
He got the worst Circus Mcgurkus. That guy.
But that's just my sideshow to a start, a beginning. This way to the big tent, you'll find your head spinning. Why, ladies and gentlemen, youngsters and oldsters, your heads are quite likely spin right off your shoulders. So hurry, step lively, quick, ladies and gents, and get in your seats in my tentable tents. My parade of parades is about to commence. Commence means begin. Commence. You'll see Drum Major Schneelock fling-flang his baton, and my organ, Mcgurkus, come on. With its hot steaming pipes of gold brass-plated tin, snorting all sorts of snorts in the bumbling din. That is super stupendous, stupendous, stupendous. And when I play Dixie, please join in the chorus. Then a fluff-muddled truffle will ride on a huffle, and next in the line a fine flummox will shuffle. The flummox will carry a lurch in his pail, and a fibble will carry the flummox's tail, while on top of the flummox 3 hump-twanging snark will twang mighty twangs with their three snarper harp, while a bolster blows bloops on the three-nozzled blueser. A nozzler blows floops on a one-nozzled nozzer. And then comes a lion who's partly a trout. The more stuff, then more stuff for 45 minutes about. This is hard to read, Luke. And then behind them, while everyone stares, come my to and fro marchers, who march in 5 layers. The froes march on toes, and the toes march on froes. Don't know how they do it. Is it? Don't know how they do it, but that's how it goes. And now comes an act of enormous. No former performers performed this performance. This stunt is too grippingly, slippingly frightening, down from the top of my tent like greased lightning. Through pots full of lots of big stickle bush trees, slides a man, what a man, on his roller skate skis. And he'll steer without fear, and you'll know at a glance that it's Schneelock, the man who takes chance after chance. And he won't even rip a small hole in his pants. And now here, in his cage, is the beast most ferocious, who's known far and wide as the spotted atrocious, whose growls, howls, and yowls the most blood-curdling sounds, and each tooth in his mouth weighs at least 60 pounds, and he chews up and eats with the greatest of ease things like carpets and sidewalks and people and trees. But the great Curl Sneelock is just right kind of man who can tame him. I'm sure he won't mind. Then I'll let Schneelock off for a few minutes' rest. Well, high over your heads you will see the best of the world's finest, fanciest, breezy trapezing, my Zuma Zoop troop from Upper West Bend Deasing, who never quite know, while they zoop and they zoom, whether which will catch what one, and who will catch whom, or if who will catch which by the what and just where, or just when, the just how, in which part of the air. That I do not understand. Go ahead. Yes?
They're going crazy.
Yes, they are going crazy. That was a very difficult one to read. Sit up, please. Sit up. Thank you. There we go. That's Thought Boy. Now you can read. Now you can see the book. Okay? What a circus. My Circus Mcgurkus. My workers love work. They say, work us. Please work us. We'll work and we'll work up so many surprises. You'll never see half if you had 40 eyeses. And now, again Schneelock. Brave Schneelock is back, risking life on my patented life-risking track. While the speedsters I call my colliding colossus, colliding collusions, race round in swift cars called abrasion contusions. The Schneelock just lies there, not one bit excited. I know he won't mind. He'll be simply delighted. And here in the contest of brute strength and muscle, Kid Schneelocks, my champ of all champs, will now tussle and wrestle a beast called the Grizzly Ghastly, and slap him around. Then he'll slam him down fastly and pin both his shoulders tight flat to the mat. Kid Schneelock will love it, I'm sure about that. Then the whole tent will ring with hoorays and wild shouts when I wheel in my whales and they turn on their spouts. First my whale number one, with an aim that aims true, spouts a spout that spouts Sneelock to whale number two. And then whale number two spouts his spout like a gun, and that spout spouts old Sneelock right back to whale one. Yes, Luke?
That's two, that's one.
They're squirting him back and forth. And then forwards and backwards on spout after spout, my great spout rider Sneelock gets spouted about just as long as the water their spouting holds out. Then my tournament knights, noble apes without fears, Sir Hector, Sir Vector, Sir Bops, and Sir Beers, Sir Hawkins, Sir Dawkins, Sir Jocks, and Sir Jeers, clatter into the tent, and while everyone cheers, stage a roust about joust with their boxing glove spears. Yes?
That circus going crazy.
It is going crazy. And while all this wild ruckusing goes on below, at the top of the tent, look, the star of my show, great daredevil Sneelock, the world's bravest type, he comes pulled through the air by 3 Subrian snipe, on a dingus contraption attached to his pipe, and while people below are all turning chalk white. Yes, Luke?
There is 100,000,999 people in this, and they want to see what they're doing. This tent is really long.
Okay, good. Now you are correct. All the biting their fingernails off in their fright, great Sneelock soars up to a terrible height. Then he shakes himself loose. He starts down in a dive, such as no man on earth could come out of alive. But he smiles as he falls, and no fear does he feel. His nerves are like iron, his muscles like steel, and he plunges down, down, with his hair still combed neat, 4,692 feet. Then he'll land in a fishbowl. He'll manage just fine. Don't ask how he'll manage. That's his job, not mine. Why, he'll be a hero. Of course, he won't mind when he finds that he has a big circus behind.
It's not a circus. Just you looking.
What are you doing? Yes!
I know it didn't hurt.
It did not hurt. Tired?
I farted.
What?
I farted.
You're gross. You're gross.
Farted.
Cut it out.
Farted.
All right, we'll climb my legs.
Farted.
Go.
I farted. 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 Farted.
Hurry up. Blanket.
I farted.
Gross.